Welcome. Where's it? Oh, the camera's over there now.
I know, I'm looking for it. New setup. Hi, guys.
Welcome to the Monday night live stream.
Hopefully you can hear us.
Hopefully, we'll wait till we hear audio and video is good. And hopefully the dogs will calm down. They're a little excited right now.
Yeah. They're nice and close, though. You'd think that they'd be happy, but I think it's just making it worse.
If we have to move them, we'll maybe try it later.
Yeah.
Yay, Dani. I mean, hello. Bello. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Both good.
Hi, Kelly.
Look at that. How many times have we done this? It's like the fourth time?
Yeah.
Fourth time, audio, video.
Everything's good?
That's what they're claiming.
Nice.
So now if something goes wrong, it's their fault, not ours.
That works.
So,
happy Monday.
yeah, start of a new week.
Made it. Just in time.
You have a good Monday?
I did. It's actually my Friday. But it was a good Monday,
I thought you
Friday.
work tomorrow.
I do not work tomorrow.
Oh. Are we going to the co-op?
We can.
Are we filming your fish room?
We can. It's still clean.
Nice.
Waiting for you. We tried to do that last week, but Bob ended up having to do some family stuff.
Yep, had to get ready to go to Portland too.
That's right.
Make sure dogs and fish were taken care of, and
I'm really bummed I didn't get to go. I had to work, but it sounds like it was fun.
it was pretty
We got
cool.
some cool stuff.
I'll see if I can show you the apistos here that I got. I was informed their common name is pineapple.
Pineapple?
Pineapple apistos. Oh, and
They look like they're kind of spiky on the top.
great to see you, Dani. What's
Hi,
new?
Carol.
I want to thank Audra,
Audra, yeah.
for resubscribing. Thank you, I appreciate it. And you can say what's new while I try to find this picture.
What's new? Everything and nothing. Still working on putting stuff together in the fish room. I'm down to, I think I've got 2 more tanks at the moment that I need to get water in. The 240's up and running. I've got fish in there. And other than that, I've got new jobs and I've got multiple jobs. So I've just been crazy working. I got off work and came straight here.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
kind of
they're pretty.
yellow-ish, but yeah, it's pretty
Super
sweet.
colorful.
They're just, like
Babies
half inch.
now.
And it was only 6 for $40, so there's no scientific name yet. Just where they were collected from. And let me show you.
So they're just calling them pineapple?
That's like the common name. There's no scientific name yet.
Okay.
Let's see. I took a picture of the information. Captive bred, yellow, orange, purple, and blue undescribed Episcramma species from Rio Mari or Mara in Brazil. He says quite possibly the best looking species in the aquarium hobby.
It's super pretty.
And
Excited
6 for
to see how they
$40.
color up.
That's a steal.
That is a good deal.
Yeah. And there were 7 of them in the bag.
I heard that going to like the club meetups and the shows is a good way to get some cool fish for
It
a
was-
decent price.
So there was definitely a lot of rare, well, I'm not gonna say a lot, but there was some rare fish there. You're gonna get put away, buddy.
We're talking. Gotta be good.
The thing I liked was the selection of plants. You get way more plants than your standard, like,
Did you get any plants?
so I got some Rotala Bangladesh, I got some Blixa japonica, maybe?
Ooh, I've wanted to try that.
And then I picked up some dwarf sage, because I need like 100
Yeah.
pots of that, but...
Bunch of plugs.
And something else I don't remember. Oh, I finally got my AR Mini. Alter Netherii Renickii something mini.
I heard AR and I was thinking something else. I was like, that's a random ad, but
No, it's a red plant
oh, cool.
with larger leaves that stays pretty small. So, and it's I think like 7 stems at least.
Nice.
So that'll be pretty nice.
We definitely, between the 2 of us, we need way more plants. We just got his 125, the second one set up, and he's got to get a bunch of plants in there. And I am not doing plants in the 240, but I am doing plants in the 240 125 sump. So I need to get a bunch of plants in there. But I cannot put a light on it because I cannot put any more things in there that require power, or I'm going to blow up that building. So in about 3 weeks, we start we're going to try pulling the old wires out.
Oh, finally doing that?
Yeah, through we're hoping they didn't just bury wires in the ground. We're hoping they did it right and ran it through some conduit. And then we're hoping once we pull it out that we can pull new, higher gauge. We're running it to a larger, I'm terrible at all this.
Like amps?
Amp, a 240, basically.
What's volts?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's probably just like a 15 or 20 amp.
I don't know. It used to power our hot tub. That's all I know.
Well, I don't think you'll need to upgrade the voltage, just the amps.
Yeah, I can't run any more than basically I can't run any heaters. So I've just started within the last month having to keep the heater back up and going, and it's popping the fuse now. I went in there yesterday and it was down in the 60s, so I had to put some emergency heat in there, and then basically I've just got no lights right now. So in the next couple weeks, my father-in-law and my husband and I are gonna, fingers crossed, switch out the wires. I saw someone asked what I put in the 240. I have my Oscars, my 4 Oscars. So I was able to
And maybe a bala shark.
You want me to take your bala shark?
Maybe. Maybe. We'll see.
We could do that. I had 2 Oscars that came from my 55 that was in my house. And you saw those on the very first video that we ever did on Bob's channel. And then I got 2 more because I'm a klepto, apparently. And those ones are just a little bit younger, maybe like a year. And I was able to successfully put them all together. Now they're doing pretty good. There was a little bit of squabbling in the beginning, but everybody's doing good now, swimming together, and they're actually, I think it's been about a week, and they're bigger already. More food to keep the aggression down, but just having the more water volume, because it's the 240 plus about 120 in the sump, so it's a lot of gallons.
So I will say, if the DOGs get annoying, just let us know, and I'll move them.
I've got dogs at home, so I kind of tune it out.
Yeah, I tune it out too. So, but they're starting to lay down and calm down. It's just anytime someone comes over, they get all excited.
Yeah, I wonder if the acoustics are different in here because of the cement floor.
So I had him in the fish room, and you can still barely hear him. Plus, it's too warm in there for them. But anyways, I'm going to roll through a couple of these questions. One of them is going to be pretty long, so I'm going to save that one, asking about the Portland show. There was... Kim says, Bob, I just purchased 6 L134s, which is leopard frog plecos. I think you already purchased a group a few months back. Any suggestions for care? What did I get from them? I got L397s from them. Honestly, for them, they're probably not adults, so they're going to take forever to grow out. 80 degrees and just lots of caves. They're super easy. All plecos are generally very easy.
I am ready for plecos, except for I need more electricity so I can have some heaters and get that 80 degrees.
They're not annoying at all. Good. They'll calm down eventually.
Yeah. 2 out of 3 is laying down.
Open the 240. We got that one. Ginger's with the $5 super chat. Thank you. Curtis with the $1 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Ginger says, I broke down my 120, have a ton of crypts. I will probably take those crypts. Sure.
I love crypts.
We
They
can split
are
'em.
my absolute favorite. I will take all the crypts.
Man, there was one more question in here, but I don't see it now. So I'm going to go to, how was the meet in Portland? So it was the first time they ever done it. And it was, if I had to guess, I would say there's probably about 1,000 people that came in and went through.
Wow.
A lot of the vendors were local breeders, which is really cool. There was some like wholesalers there, so there's like the run-of-the-mill tetras and stuff like that. But yeah, it was really good. The talks, Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, gave like the best talk I've seen in a long time.
I've watched a few of his videos. He has so much information every time he puts one out. So I was curious how he would be. It
was crazy. It just, I don't know. I've never seen one of his talks, but I'm usually not very excited to see YouTubers talk because I watch their videos.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's why when people ask me to, like, I've had clubs ask me to talk, and I'm like, you can just watch my videos. Like, what am I supposed to talk about that I haven't already talked about, you know? But he did, like, just the history of the aquarium from, like, all the way back to where they started, and just fast forwarded all the way through, and, like, talked about, like, the major advancements that really caused, you know, the hobby to grow, and it was just really fascinating.
Awesome.
And then obviously Lawrence Kent. There was some scheduling issues, so Lawrence Kent was supposed to start his speak at 4, but they also did the raffle drawing at 4.
Oh.
And so, like, well, we've been, you know, obviously people want to
People
win
like
their
their
friends'
raffles,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
And so I think his talk was a little rushed. You know, just little things like that will be fixed for next year. And I think next year it'll be a 2-day event. Dan's Fish actually did a talk, and Lawrence watched Dan's talk.
Oh.
And at the end, Lawrence was like, dude, I'm just blown away by your quality and your level of care. And, like, just a huge compliment to get from Lawrence
Yeah.
Kent.
That's
And
awesome.
so that was really cool to see. And obviously meeting Dan, and Lawrence is like, I met Lawrence, even though I've met him like 4 times.
Right.
He's like, nice to meet you. And I'm just like, don't expect him to remember everyone.
I'm terrible with names, but I'm pretty good with faces. Oh, hey. None of that. You're going to get us in trouble. None of that.
Mile High Plecos with the $10 super chat says, hi Bob, I got some news. I'm shutting down the fish room. That's a headline. What's the news? Everything is fine. Things are just getting complicated, like too many fish. Is that what's going on? Too
Mile
many
High
fish?
Plecos?
Yeah, Trevor.
He said he's having to shut down his fish room.
Yeah, I'm just curious why. And he says things are getting complicated, so maybe just too many fish tanks? No. We might have to separate them.
Well, we made it 15 minutes.
Oh man, they we're getting better too. We'll give it a couple more minutes. LRB Aquatics, oh my gosh, Lucas was there.
Was he?
And they went, the day before, they went to Eastern Oregon and collected all this manzanita and black lava rock. And just, like, the back of their truck was just full, overflowing. They didn't have straps. And apparently, like, people were, like, waving them down, like, your wood's falling down. Like,
Oh, no.
I saw the picture. It was just massive, just hordes of wood. And then he set up a table and was, like, selling it. But, I mean, it was, like two $300 huge pieces. He was just like, yeah, $20, $30.
Wow.
And
That would be me down there looking for the manzanita and the rocks.
Yep. So I think I'm gonna go down there. Dani and Ken are like, anytime, we'll go collecting.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yep.
I was super bummed that I couldn't make it because it's like the one show that's within driving distance.
The only one.
And I'm pretty much a drive for my trip kind of gal. So hopefully next year that would be fun.
Saddest puppies in the world. They're not sad.
They want us to think that they're sad.
Yep. Main Sales First Offend. Jess, I was on your live stream. Thank you for having me. If anyone missed that and for some reason needs more Bob content, you can check out her channel.
What?
Yeah, I was on her live stream last Thursday.
Whose?
Jess, Main Sales First Offend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Regina Phalanges with the $5 super chat says, hi, Bob and Dani. I wish I could have made it to Portland. Wearing my Carhartt beanie, too. It's freezing. Your dogs are fine.
Yeah, it's officially beanie weather.
I feel like the dog lovers are like the dogs are fine. That's just too much. That's too much. We got to fix it.
Want me to put them away?
Boom. Mics are hot.
Oh, that's a new screen.
Yeah. It changed when I moved, and I don't know what I did.
Sounds about right.
Come on. Come on. Come on. No. Come on. No.
That chair makes you look like you have green spiky ears. I'll have to look when he turns the screen back. Oh, no, we don't have the green screen. When the green screen is going behind this chair, it looks funny. Hey, Mary Page. I sense an intermission song. I don't know that the song is playing. It's a whole new screen and everything.
I don't know. We're going to have to figure something better out for this, because awkward. There should be maybe a song playing. I don't know. Like I forget to fix it every time, so there we go. We're back. All right, did I miss anything?
I don't know. I always talk because it's silent on my end, and then when I listen back, I can't ever hear myself. It's Dani's elf chair. I see it now. Here.
Oh, yeah. Little elf ears. Lumpy Dog says, Steenfott live stream, rule number 4, everyone must wear hats.
Yes. I
See?
love hats.
I'm not the only one.
During the summer, I love baseball hats because I've got really sensitive eyes, and so the sun. And then during the winter, it's beanies all the time. Rip off, we want the song. Okay, the song wasn't playing.
Mile High Pleco says, when do we get a new avatar? 2 years is the longest there is.
2 years is what?
When you're a member for 2 years, you get my Seraph avatar from my husky.
Oh, yeah.
There's like people that have been members for like 3 years, and their YouTube was just like 2 years is enough. So you get nothing. You get nothing after 2 years.
I love YouTube.
It's very disappointing.
Bye, Dan.
Who? Oh, it was.
He's back to lurking.
Oh, a lurking while a working.
I was just watching his video about his fish room build, the new warehouse space.
Yep, I gotta go out there and see it when it's done.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's crazy because it's like, you know, when you make a fish room in a house or like in the shed, like you're retrofitting around a space, and so you're having to figure that out. But I think it's like overwhelming. As much as it's probably easier to, you know, start from the ground up and do everything the way it should be, that just blows my mind, all the little details and like getting it right. And that's scary to me, but it's cool to see it go up.
Daryl says, I feel like I either have to live in the UK, Japan, or the West Coast to be close to this hobby. See, I'm like, nothing ever happens on the West Coast. Like, this Portland show is the first thing in years.
Yeah, I think other than the Fish Club, or maybe the fact that, like, Aquarium Co-op is here, you know, it's just fish clubs, really.
Yeah, and there's 2.
There's not even, like, fish stores anymore in our area. It's literally you have to go to a Petco or a PetSmart.
Or drive an hour to the co-op.
Which is why we got to go tomorrow, because I'm out of blood worms.
And they're really expensive at Petco, which is weird.
They are, and I also don't like that brand. And I don't think my fish do as much either.
What is it, San Francisco?
I think so, yeah. It's one that comes in the paper or the cardboard, or the little gumdrops, and I don't like those ones as much either.
Curtis hit the 2 year, in 2 year and 13 days. 2 more weeks, buddy.
Oh, Ginger. Ginger's moving. Bob knows how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Moving his house with 20 years full of stuff into a smaller space. That was fun.
Luckily, she's only lived there for like a couple years.
Oh,
Portland is a 35-hour drive from me. That's a little too far. Kevin's Canines and Aquatics was there, and he has the coolest dog ever. It was really nice to meet you, Kevin. It was.
What kind of a dog does he have?
You have to ask. It was like a golden retriever, but I don't know if it was a mix or not. But yeah, super sweet. There was a lot of dogs. Like, I was really surprised. And, you know.
That's nice. I would like to bring my dogs.
Yeah, it was, you know, if you want to bring your dog, bring a dog, but don't get one of the fake vests that say it's a service dog.
Oh,
like there was a Carni Corso. With like I'm like, a Carni Corso is never a service dog.
Maybe.
Like one of the most violent dogs ever. Remember, for 35 months, I got one of them too. 35 months. Oh yeah, he has a husky too.
Oh.
Mine was actually a Malamute. I just say husky because
I
don't know, I kind of stuck.
Would never do a husky only because I had a Malamute.
Get off my stream.
Timberwolf.
Get out.
When I was younger. And that thing...
That's a Timberwolf.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was...
How are you going to crap on Huskies for having a Malamute Timberwolf?
Well, then, after that, I had a friend that I worked with, and she had a Husky. And that thing not only destroyed everything in her apartment, so she started bringing it in the car and leaving it in the car for work so that she could take it out. It ripped the headliner down, the dashboard off, the seats.
If you left me in a car for 8 hours,
I would
rip everything. I would pee on everything.
I would not be happy. No, not 8 hours. It was little shifts. That was back in the day. Part-time work.
another 35-monther. See, we're a month away from the 36, and I got nothing for you guys.
Oh.
And Zen Ginger says it says 24 months, but I'm actually a little less than a month away. Rounding up. Rounding up. Dani, I wear ballads. Isn't that like a song?
I think that it might have been a typo. Because
Ballet?
beanies, I think is what she was.
Oh, most of the year is for my eyes, too.
Or
you
hats.
would wear beanies for your ballads?
I don't know. I thought it was just a typo, but I was picking up what you're putting down. Hats.
All right. Well, I guess you got that handled then. Steenfott Aquatics, I'm with you on the one that was surprised how many service animals were there. I don't generally see very many. So there was like a giant Great Dane walking around, but at least they were like...
I love Great Danes.
It was pretty rad.
Big Ophi. Yeah. I love big dogs and big horses. And I can't really say. I like big fish, but I like small fish too. But
it was just nice. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot, like natural aquariums. You guys see them all over everywhere. That's who I bought my plants from.
Oh, cool.
And then so they were like, he had the prices written on the bags, but I just saw one bag for $4, and he's like, you can have 3 for $10. So I'll have these, and he's like, because some of them were more, and I wasn't even paying attention. I was like, oh shoot, how much do I owe you?
Score.
Are we gonna ignore Bob's new $300 hoodie? My guy said, forget Macy's, let's do Express. I don't know what's Express.
It's a clothing store. You're very fashion forward and you're bright today. My ensemble is from Ross.
Sponsored by Ross. All right, what else we got going on here? I want a blue tick hound. Oh yeah, we're into dogs now. Husky shed so much fur, not good for the South. I don't know what I could do. I love my dogs, but short hair dogs, I miss my long hair dogs.
Yeah.
Way less problems.
The long-haired dogs?
Mm-hmm. I don't have to worry about bees. I don't have to worry about them being cold in the winter because I love the cold and I love camping in the winter.
That's true. I have 2 pit mixes with very short hair, so they get chilly.
It gets down in the 40s and they're like just shivering when they're pooping, and it's just, I feel so bad for them. And that's even with the coats. I got them coats.
Ball caps. See, I knew it was a hat.
It's supposed to read ball caps.
I do the same thing. My phone screen is broken right now, and so when my phone starts to get too hot, it starts hitting sensors around it, and it calls Bob all the time, tries to video chat him when I'm just texting. I gotta call out multi-tank addiction, because this was just, I don't know. I found this very funny. Like, he's walking around with his gimbal and camera, and he's live streaming, and he was on the other side, so I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go in and lurk in his live stream, and I'm like, he's not live streaming. And so then I get over there, and Candy's yelling at him. He's like, you're not live. He's like, yeah, I am. He's like, but he wasn't live. Oh, that's terrible.
And he was, like, walking around talking to people, and I was like, oh, man, it was so funny.
Oh, that's terrible.
Chris is a funny guy, though. Oh, man.
What kind of horses do you have, Dani? I've got 4. I have a thoroughbred, an off-track thoroughbred. I have we don't know what she is, some sort of a quarter horse mix. And then I have a quarter horse, and I have a mini. So a little bit of everything.
The West U.S. is amazing to us in the East. Yeah, but all the fish shows are like Central and East Coast. Like,
yeah,
we finally get one fish show, and everyone's like, "Oh, the West Coast is they're so It's like, come on, it's the first one in like 10 years."
Next year, I'm excited.
You definitely got to make sure you're not working.
I know. I'm not used to working weekends, so I didn't even think about it.
And it's going to be a 2-day event. I don't know if I said that.
Was it just one day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was 2 days.
Yeah. 1,000 people for one day. Pretty good.
Favorite small fish, 1 inch or less. Gosh. My favorite small fish, 1 inch or less right now is my white clouds.
They're over an inch.
Are they?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, they're close enough.
They're close enough.
I like my emerald eye rasboras a lot. Those ones are small. But But I just brought in all of the pond fish from outside, and I put them in my 50-gallon low boys. And so it's like I'm still getting that pond effect, but I also get to see them, which I love, because I haven't got to really see the white clouds in all their glory. So right now they're my favorite small fish.
Mine, and it's just a fish I've been nerding out on for the last couple months, is the 4-spot live bear.
I don't know that one.
It's a Heterandria formosa. They're collected in Florida, and it's the world's smallest live bear fish.
I have seen, I think, one video on YouTube about them. Really, really tiny. Maybe.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll get them here eventually, and I want to try them out outside.
Scarlet Batis, that's one I would like to try.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Although I like the black tiger Dario, which is just a different...
Same kind of thing.
Same fish, just different species. Kevin, again with the $5 super chat, says, unpacking plants from Fishtoberfest. I still haven't unpacked my plants. And fish purchase from the wet spot. I finally did that today. And the crabs. I got crabs as well. And they finally got their homes today.
What kind of crabs were they? The picture you showed me looked like they had a black body and red arms.
So there's orange arm Borneo crabs.
Oh.
And then the other one is it's called a disco crab. But it's kind of the same. I don't know if it's like the same species and different color variant. Yeah, disco. And Borneo orange arm. But they're supposedly pretty easy to breed, so we'll see.
I'm not getting into crabs. I'm going to focus on the fish for right now. I already strayed and I brought home a lizard. Now I just need to stick.
Thanks for that, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Kevin, what did you get from the wet spot? I know a lot of people went to the wet spot, and a lot of people were not very happy with the wet spot.
Why?
Oh, they have terrible service.
Oh.
Like, their customer service is garbage.
I've never.
How should I remove corridor eggs off the wall of a community tank? Is there a way to do it, give them a better survival rate? A lot of people just use a razor blade. I know some people use a credit card.
3 quarter horses in one paint. I would love to ride if I'm ever down there. That sounds amazing.
Where?
Maine's Tails, Furs and Fin,
Oh, yeah.
wherever she is. But she said we're down south. She's got
Down south.
Yeah.
Like South America.
South America?
No, I'm just kidding.
I always forget. Yeah, it's YouTube. I guess everyone's everywhere.
Which fish in Florida? The Heterandria formosa. Wait, it might not be the 4-spot live bear. That might be a different fish. The scientific name is correct. I might be thinking of a different one for the common name.
I need a crab in my shirt.
Did Mile High Plecos leave?
He's just said he's got to go. Have a good night.
All right, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I hope whatever is making you tear down your fish room makes you send all your fish to me. But, you know. Can I have all your stuff? That's anytime someone tears down a fish room.
If you have any Plecos that you need a home in Washington for.
His name is Pleco.
I saw that.
Borneo orange arm are an unnamed species. All right. They're probably maybe all. Least killifish. Yes, not the 4-spot. The 4-spot live bear is a different live bear fish that's really small. The 4-spot live bear was my very first fish.
Wow.
Yeah, there used to be a breeder 10 minutes that way. But then he moved to Michigan or Wisconsin or something. So yeah, least killifish, not the 4-spot.
I really need, well, they don't do the club meetings in person, but I joined literally right before COVID, so I never got to actually go to an in-person meeting. But I wanted to find more people in the area that breed, and it's just my friends glaze over whenever I talk fish, so.
Oh boy, here she goes again.
Yeah, here's a crazy lady.
I was at a family event, and I saw an aunt that I hadn't seen in probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you doing? What are you up to these days? And I'm like, well, I kind of have all these fish tanks. And she's like, that makes perfect sense. She's like, I remember your room. It was just a wall. I mean, back then it was reptiles, but I had the cinder block wall of aquariums with reptiles in them.
I remember you were telling me about that.
She's like, you were always into those weird animals. I'm like, well, they're not weird, but all right.
It's always been animals for me. all the different types. I grew up on a farm, and so I had all the farm animals and every small rodent that there was that you could put, in a cage. I had that, and but I just really ever only had like one tank or a pond until the last couple years, and then it blew up.
Somebody asked, where did it go? Oh, I probably gotta find it over here. Anyways, if there was any Inca 50, I think it was Keith. Any Inca 50 apistos? No. So there was 3 species of apistos, which were all wild caught, and then captive bred and unnamed. So the location only. Those were the only apistos I saw. As far as like uncommon stuff, it was mainly just like guppies, like rarer, uncommon strains of guppies, and then there was just like a lot of the normal kind of stuff you'd see, like like everybody had their shrimp, everybody had I don't know, like the normal guppies, but there was some like of Bentley's guppies that sold in like the first 15 minutes that somebody else was bred and bought. But Dani is the bomb.
Oh, thank you.
Kevin says 10 clown killifish. Ooh, that's a really good fish for 1 inch. Pygmy cories, 3 triple red apistos from Tyler Bates and Genetics. Oh my God, too many plants and fish, but hey. And I think he flew home too.
Oh.
I think, if I remember right, I think he flew in for this event.
Moving all of my fish and tanks from the garage to the shed was stressful enough. I could not imagine taking them on a plane and all of that. I know people do it. I know that that's how they get here when we have them shipped. It's just stresses me out.
One of the speakers, which I'm not going to say, but it's pretty obvious, brought his smuggling device. We saw his smuggling device.
His smuggling device?
For smuggling fish on airplanes.
Wait, what?
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm at liberty to say. A smuggling device to bring fish home on planes.
Interesting.
Customer service at the West Spot is okay as long as you go and it's slow. Well, that's kind of how you level or judge customer service, right? You don't like judge it when it's slow and you're the only one in there, but still.
Yes or no?
We always go on Fridays when they first open and no one is there, and I always have a list to speed things along. Otherwise, it's slow.
I've worked in customer service my whole life, so I have a little bit more.
I've done over 10 years in retail.
Just people, but yeah, overall, if it's like that, I've heard other things too about the owner.
He's very anti-YouTubers. Like, if you're a YouTuber, don't ever tell him you're a YouTuber.
I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just on your YouTube every now and again.
You are a YouTuber. I don't know what I missed. Just got time. We're just not. We don't have a topic like always. We're just hanging out.
Oh, Regina, you sound like me. Every animal I could get. I even kept caterpillars in my closet that turned into giant moss. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I kept everything. I had a lizard that I caught out of my pasture when I was a kid. I definitely brought some frogs in, much to my sister's disgust. Every animal. I had them all. I got them from my dad. My dad grew up on 3,000-acre cattle ranch in Montana. And he I think at one point he told me like he had like raccoons and he like brought a skunk home. His parents weren't very happy, but that's definitely where I got it from. First time seeing me in a live. Hi, Alice.
Fish ladies are better than cat ladies. Uh-oh.
It's good for you. I'm both.
There's too many cats at your place. They jump in my car if I leave the window down.
Yeah.
They jump on me.
It's pretty
out of the
ridiculous
rafters.
How many cats we have right now. Too many cats. They're indoor, outdoor, and it is a farm, so it does help with all of the rodents, but we have a lot of cats. My favorite fish, that's really tough.
Oscars, bettas. It's got to be bettas.
I mean, I would
have like
probably
900 of them.
It started with koi and bettas. And I have about 30 bettas, and as I've gotten into the hobby, like the last couple of years, as far as what's my favorite or what I'm interested in, has just exploded in all different directions. But as far as like the amount I have, you could probably say I really love bettas.
Fish girls rock.
Too many cats. What does that even mean? I know.
Don't even get me. Oh my gosh.
I own my crazy.
It's definitely an inherited gene, the love for all creatures.
There are people who love cats like crazy, just have a disease that cats give called toxoplasmosis.
Haley says, next time I take a plane to the West Coast, you have to bring Dani with. We can talk fish and plants all day.
I would love to meet more people.
Just need more advanced planning.
Yeah.
That's what was impressive about this. It was like, yeah, it's been kind of talked about for a couple months, but like actually like start going like maybe a month and a half.
Yeah. I got to get like a routine down, and that's impossible because I've got 3 jobs right now. Do I breed bettas? I do have a wild pair together. I haven't seen any fry. I haven't been active in it. I focused for a while on building the shed first and then getting all of the tanks set up really well. I've learned that with my water, it's very acidic pH wise, but it's very hard and low KH. So I need really seasoned tanks with a lot of good stuff in there to buffer it. So I haven't really focused on breeding, and now I'm kind of, got the tanks. I'm starting to fill them up. I brought home a lot of fish when Bob moved. And now I'm getting into some of the ones I've had on my list for a while. But
African cichlids you brought home.
Yeah, I've got his
now you're
cichlids.
like, I really like this one. There's 10 different species.
One in there that I
only like
love. I really like that one.
Julie,
I have no idea what it is.
Julie
but I like it.
malariae. That's not it, but malaria or something like that.
Yeah,
Malari.
yeah, that one.
The Fish Tank Barn with the $5 super chat says Metallicus for 1-inch fish.
Hey, none of that. Oh, there's someone out there.
I've done it 3 times. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Let's talk puffers. How about angels? They're my new thing. By the way, dogs rock. Oh, I think I already read that one.
I have a lot of angels right now, and I've got them in a big tank mixed together, and I really like that. I used to have just I had my koi angels in one, and then I had my platinum in another, and I'm actually kind of loving just the contrast of all the different types.
Okay. I don't know if I finished reading this super chat, but Metallicus for 1-inch fish. Taking a plane shouldn't be a problem. I've done it 3 times.
I know that a lot of people do it. It's one of those things.
It's a little different.
Once you've done it,
when
it's
you're
probably a lot easier.
going through multiple customs and.
Well, and that's the thing. So people are not allowed to transport fish because people do it all the time. Why would you have to hide your fish?
Like I said, it's a little different going from Texas to California than a third world country with 6 connecting flights through 3 other countries.
This is very true.
It's a little bit different.
Very true.
All animals are awesome. That's not true. Ticks can go to hell. We're dog people, but the next dog after the foxhound crosses the Rainbow Bridge will be a puppy and a kitten sibling.
Aww.
Yes, Ruben Daly, that's it. Julie DeChromis, I don't know.
My dog is barking back. Zen. Every time when I lurk in Bob's streams, my dogs bark when his dogs bark.
Let's talk Pandagars. That's my new thing. Don Gallagher, Pandagars are amazing.
Ooh, puffers are breeding. Oddball Aquatics, she just got home from the airport and her puffers were breeding. Shouldn't pull the eggs. You're not a bad fish mom. Not at all. What kind of puffers do you have?
Am I a bad fish dad? Because when I drove home at midnight, I just put my fish in the fish room and then went to sleep. Still kept them in the bags. I feel like
moving on.
5 years ago, like when I would come home from at like midnight from a meeting, like I'd be up till like 3, like putting them all away.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, I did drive like 5 hours to be fair, but
I was so tired. Like after when I had to get all those fish out of your 125 and then
that took like 3 days.
Go home and put them in after that. I was like, oh, that's terrible.
Pandagars are like the autosynclists without the starvation risk. I don't know that they're as good as algae eaters. I
love Pandagars.
But they are definitely really cool fish and probably some of the hardiest fish out there.
I have some Pandagars. I never have had an autosynclist until I had to clean out his 125 to move it, and he just let me take all the fish that were in there. It was a bunch of random assortment, and I got 1 auto, which was pretty exciting.
Oh, there was 1 left?
Yeah.
I haven't bought autos in like 3 or 4 years, so that's crazy.
Shoot and eye puffers? Oh, that's
Shoot
what
and
I
eye?
want. I want a little group of them so bad.
I think there's an L in there.
Little shoes. shoot to dead. I call them little shoes, so I can't pronounce that
I thought you were
word.
going to say little shit.
No, little shoes.
Jennifer says, first time here, loving you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Welcome, Jennifer.
No, I meant share what you guys know about them. So what size, know about what? I missed it.
Go up. Ball.
No, that was Rach, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Let's talk puffers. How
How
about angels?
They're my new thing.
Are we supposed to talk about puffers or angels?
So now, I don't know, but maybe
I don't
both.
know. I don't know.
And when she ask what sizes, tanks, tank makes, etc. Have never had puffers, so I can't. Yeah, little shoes are on my list. I want a little group of them, and that's really all that I have done research
Little
on.
shoes.
And other than that, angels though I've had a lot, and what sizes? I guess it would totally depend on how many you
There's some
had.
giant angels, and then there's some not so giant angels as well.
Oh, I was reading that like maybe size tank.
Yeah, but the size of the tank would depend on which angel you have.
Yeah, like
That's too broad. That's just too broad of a question.
I have a group of small angels, young angels, in a 20 high.
From Tiffany White, shout
From
out.
Tiffany White, yes. And I've had them. Oh, I'm just choking on air. Hold on. down the wrong pipe. I've had angels I have them in a 55, and they came from my 125. I have found that I know that you can keep them in a large group. My experience with them is when they started to get sexually mature, they started fighting off. I think they killed a couple off till they got down to pairs. Literally, like they got rid of the competition. But with this new grouping I haven't seen that. So I guess I really don't know what's the best way to go. As far as tank mates, I've got them in community aquariums. So they're with cories, Siamese algae eaters. I've got them with tetras. I think ember tetras. I've got them with my Danios, my giant Danios. They don't like them very much, but it's because they take over the tank. But I think angels can pretty much go with everything. The one thing, I have a betta in just about every tank I have, except for my cichlid tanks. So my apistos, I don't keep betas in, and my angels, and then obviously the Oscars and the Africans. So definitely wouldn't put another maybe like aggressive fish like that in there with them. But yeah, you can do a nice planted community of all sorts of different stuff. That's what I like about them. And I got these really cool ones from Tiffany I'm loving that have like those wider fins where they don't necessarily come to the point. They almost like they're rounded out. I love them. They just flow.
Shout at Dani. Shout at Dani. Just call them Scooty Fruity Puffers.
Scooty fruities.
Tesla with a $5.50 super chat, 57 cents. Says, Bob and Dani used to have a Great Dane, awesome pup, but when I had her, I would post pics with the hashtag shits like a horse. My mom
Yes.
had 2 Great Danes, and they're just really fun dogs. It's amazing how little they eat.
Yeah, I mean, little they eat, and like you would think being a big dog that they'd need, like they say they're good for apartments because they don't really need to expel a lot of energy.
It's crazy, but you definitely have to wear, well, as a guy, you have to wear a cup. As a tall guy, you have to wear a cup.
Why?
The tails, whack, whack, whack. Yeah, it was brutal.
I don't know.
Good day. Just got 12 red-eye tetras. Awesome. And they are gorgeous. I think so, too. My next aquarium, I'd like to set up a I'd like to set up a coconut octopus.
Murder copter. For puffer.
Oh,
I
nice.
love that.
My next aquarium I'd like to set up is a coconut octopus.
Coconut octopus.
Are you saying you want a cephalopod, or is this some kind of aquarium I don't know about? Like, I don't know. Or take a break on tanks and set up a ball python. I always tell people never get ball pythons. They are like the most boring animal ever.
My husband would
In my
not be
opinion.
very happy if I brought home a snake. And by not very happy, I may end up single woman.
I wonder if I can advise. Wait, I wonder if I can get some advice. I have 5 angels and 75 a year old. I would like to put my angels. Wait.
I would like to put my angels in with them that is the same clutch but only 6 months old. They are almost the same size. What do you think?
I think as long as I always go by size, I don't go by age. So if they're the same size, they should be fine. Just know you're gonna have to do obviously more maintenance, more water changes.
And you are gonna have. I mean, if you're putting, so like I never put my like cichlids or my like aggressive fish together in a tank where one has been established. Like for example, I didn't put my 2 different groups of Oscars together in either of their tanks. I put them into a new tank because you will get some aggression or like that unfair advantage for the ones that have already been in the tank. But if they're the same size, they're going to naturally swabble, and a 75 is a good amount of room, both front and back. And if you've got plants or like site breaks and stuff like that to give them all individual territories, you should be good. Just know that once they mature and you start to get some pairs, their territory gets way bigger. I had 2 pairs in my 125, and they bred constantly, and they were on either side, but their span as far as their territory was literally half the tank. When my 125 broke, I had to put them into a 75, and that was too small. But they were fully mature and were actively breeding, and so it was just too much for them at that point. But I think it's all kind of an individual thing. I mean, I have a betta sorority that I've had going for years, and some people
Working.
Yeah.
With another fish in there that.
Lots of fish in there.
Well, one specific. That shouldn't be there, but we won't say that on stream.
In my beta sorority?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which one?
I'm not going to say because it's going to make the internet blow up.
Oh, shoot. Well, the fact I have a beta sorority already makes...
And you were the one that said that when I was over there filming the tour. You're like, oh, don't show that with that fish in there. That will be forever an internet mystery.
Now I have to think, what is it? I've got a lot of fish in there in that particular tank. It's a 40 breeder. And it was just the betta sorority for a long time. There's five females in there. And now I put my rainbows in there. I've got Corey's, I've got banjo cats, and then all of his fish that I got from his 125.
All right, so M&C Aquatics says, set up another 240-gallon, another one. Boy, life's hard over there, huh? Thinking of putting in rainbows. What's one? You know, the nice thing about rainbows is you really just... Like, what's your favorite color? Whatever your favorite color is, go buy that rainbow. It's because they come in any color you could ever want.
When I first met Bob, it was because I was buying fish from him, and I was newer into the hobby, but also new to rainbows. And I had my 125 community tank, and I was going for a specific color. And I said, "What of your rainbows that you have, what has red on it?" So I ended up with Goiter Rivers.
That was the reddest at the time.
The reddest.
But there's definitely. I mean, there's like the Millennium, which is way more red.
But that's what you had in. There was a couple options, and I chose that one.
My friend was showing me hundreds of pics of her first grandbaby video, etc. Cute. I showed her a pic of a koi that I had. She was so grossed out, she forgot all about the kid.
That sounds like me.
That's funny.
Pea puffers and a betta. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, yeah, when we do the tour, I could show all the different setups. I've got just about every tank has a betta with something different. So there's so many different options.
What Ginger says, what do you recommend for mostly colorblind? Silverfish.
Yeah.
And then just pretend it's whatever color you want.
If you're colorblind, is it like black, like kind of black and white and gray? Like,
well, there's like different.
Obviously, yeah. If you're
types of colorblind, so
blind to different.
Can nitrates parts per million stay around 40 if you're kind of like at the max? But yeah, generally not an issue. I'm not worried about 40 if it was my tank. Maybe if it was like super sensitive fish, like I don't know, pseudomygil furcatas are pretty sensitive. Maybe I would get it down to like 20, but 40 I wouldn't worry about 40 most of the time.
My puffers nip fins too much. Yeah.
I do want a giant tank of hundreds of pea puffers. I was talking to Oddball Aquatics about it over the weekend.
Hundreds of pea puffers.
Hundreds. Like, could you imagine like your 240 with like 500 pea puffers?
Well,
Because in the wild they school,
yeah.
but no one ever gets a big enough tank or a large enough group for them to school around in an aquarium.
Well,
in an aquarium.
I'm kind of limited, obviously, to what I can put in with the Oscars, but that planted sump, I could put fish in there, and it's a nice long one.
I would do shrimp if it was me.
I've got shrimp in the low boy, so I've just let I had orange shrimp going wild in the tubs for the last 2 years, and I never culled or separated them, so I finally took them all out. I decided just to bring everything that was outside inside for the winter, just to kind of make it easy on myself. And it is all different types of shrimp in there now. I almost bought green jade last year. I don't need to do that. I've got plenty now. Some black ones, brown ones. I got some really ones in there. It's amazing.
That's
how many
when you just
different
sell
colors.
them online as Skittles mix.
Skittles mix.
With some, I don't know, brown. Michael says, yes, I did mean a cephalopod. So I would say, if you're going to go and get like a dwarf octopus, you need to have that tank on lockdown. I'm sure you've done your research, but they are just massive escape artists. Like, they can get out of almost anything.
What was it?
Octopus.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Mm-hmm. The one in the Seattle Aquarium escaped a couple years ago, like all the way out.
They can fit through the smallest of openings and like expand and contract their body. I know that.
It's crazy.
I'm hooked on my water dogs. I love my Oscars too. I know they're pretty basic in terms of, the commonality, but I love my Oscars, especially now that I have a tank that can really display them.
500 pea puffers in a tank that goes all around the room.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I've always wanted like a U-shaped tank.
I had lofty goals when I was first building the shed of
I
doing
think we all do.
a moat around the bottom. I did not do that.
I got the smallest pea puffers I've ever seen from Aquahuna last week. Very healthy too. Well, they're supposed to be small. That's why they're pea puffers.
Maybe they were really, really baby ones.
The downfall of having hundreds of pea puffers is how, like, your food bill. Like, how many bloodworms you'd have to buy? It'd be ridiculous. You might have to close that door.
Want me to do it?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
You got in trouble.
Still researching, yeah. Do a ton of research because a lot of people, I feel like octopuses, octopi,
No, stay.
They're kind of like piranhas, where a lot of people get them because they think they're cool, and then they realize, man, piranhas are just boring. If Fish Room Fever was here, he would deny that, but like piranhas, they just sit there. And octopuses, octopi, dang it, I keep doing that. Are the shut up. I'll kill you.
I just got that.
They're the same thing. They just sit and hide, and they're nocturnal. And pretty much the only time they come out of hiding is when you feed them, and then they'll go right back in, or when they're escaping. So just be prepared to have a boring pet, a cool pet, but a pet that not a lot of people have, but it's still going to be pretty boring.
I think of all my fish, the only ones that are boring
Are the Oscars?
are the banjo cats, because I never see them.
Well, that's because you don't need substrate, and then you'll see them.
Yeah, but you had a substrate tank, and all yours came out every time you fed.
Well, yeah.
They're in a community aquarium. I feed them all the time, and I never see them. I saw one tail yesterday. It was the first time since I moved them in the fish room. And there's like 4 in there.
I saw mine all the time. I don't understand.
Other than that.
Oh, Rach has a good point. Hers eat Viber Bites. I did, when I was selling pea puffers, I did feed Viber Bites. I always forget about Viber Bites because I don't have any anymore.
Oh, yeah. Because they're more so like harder. They're harder to get onto like the normal fish food. Is that why?
What do you mean? Why I don't have any?
No, like just pea peppers. Like, what do you mean?
Oh yeah. So they won't eat prepared.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Generally. Gotta watch a documentary called My Teacher, the Octopus. I've had so many people tell me to watch that, but I still haven't. I think that's where a guy
Octopus?
becomes like a lifelong friend with an octopus in the ocean. I could be wrong, but like he goes diving and they always like hang out.
As much as I love fish, I don't want to go out in the open ocean. I have no desire.
So I watched this channel. It's one of my favorite channels. It's called Mr. Ballin, which is just his last name.
Oh, okay.
And he pretty much just tells stories. Like one of my favorite series is like 3 places people went that they shouldn't have gone, and it's always like people diving in the ocean. Like, hey, look at this cave, and then they die.
Yeah.
Like, yep, shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And so he's got like 30 videos in this series, and everyone I swear has someone of like scuba diving. It's either scuba diving or like cave. The people that like contort their bodies to get into caves.
I've just watched way too many documentaries and videos, and obviously then all the scary movies of all the stuff that goes on in the ocean. I have a lot of respect for it. It scares the crap out of me. Love fish. Don't want to hang out in their pond. Not at all.
I don't know. I do love the ocean. I love swimming in the ocean, but I don't know
Nope.
that I have a desire to go like underwater in the ocean.
Freshwater all the way, and even then, I'm very picky about what kind of water. I'm good in the river.
I like when it's super clear and you just look and it just
Yeah.
looks like it goes for miles.
We just got back from Lake Chelan. Went there for my birthday at the end of last month, and that is
happy birthday.
Thank you. It's a glacier-fed lake, and you can see like 60 feet down. It's awesome. There was some amazing driftwood down there, but I would have to dive to get it.
And you didn't?
I did not. It's freezing. It's glacier-fed.
You can make a cinder block moat sump that runs around the perimeter of the room to propagate plants.
That's kind of what I wanted to do. So I've got the cinder block racks, and at the bottom I wanted to do like 4x4s along the back and the front, and basically kind of just the bottom of the hole and then underneath the 240. And so it would be very shallow, but I kind of wanted to make like a little lazy river type thing.
Love that guy. Creepy stories. I'm glad somebody else has heard of him. He has like 2 million subscribers.
Never go in caves or you die.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
I don't do well in small spaces, and apparently wide open space below my feet. I don't like that. And I don't like, I posted, I saw some guy, he did like some sort of a base jumping or bungee jumping.
Oh, yeah, off a bridge.
Oh my gosh, that just makes every cell in my body go nuts. I could never. I don't like to free fall. It freaks me out.
I don't know. When I'm out hiking around and fighting caves, I'll go in it. But I'm not going to like lay down and like have to crawl. I'm not going to crawl through anything. But if I can walk through it standing up, there's lots of them around here in the mountains. Like lots of old mining caves and stuff that you can just walk right into.
The caves is where all the big stuff lives.
Well, yeah, and we're looking for Bigfoot. That's why I go in them.
Okay, you go in, I'll stand watch outside.
Yep. I'll scream if something happens. At an aquarium in New Zealand, there were crayfish in a big tank, and they were going missing every night. Turns out the octopus was climbing out of the tank at night and then eating them.
Oh.
That's crazy. That's super smart.
I saw some sort of a time lapse where the octopus would get out, go get something that it wanted, and then put itself back in the tank. I don't remember what channel that was on, but it was on YouTube somewhere.
I think ropefish do the same thing. Like they come out of the tank, and they'll just hang out, and then they'll go back in.
Well, I know that like Oddball Aquatics, she keeps like a little ledge at the top of the water, but like they'll get out, and then go back in.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much for me.
Why? This one's like way behind. I don't like lazy rivers. I love lazy rivers because people are too lazy to go to the restroom. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I don't go to public aquariums.
I used to live in Texas, and there was no such thing as refreshing water in Texas, but we went to one lazy river to try and cool off one time, and there was hundreds of people in the water in front of us, behind us. It grossed me out pretty bad.
Some of them put that dye that you can, like, shows when people pee.
Ugh.
Like, that's the last thing I would want to know.
You already know what's happening. That was the last time I went in that river.
Ugh, I can't do public anything aquarium related. or like swimming related.
Yeah.
Pools.
People are gross.
I was a prison guard in the Army, so I'm used to boring. It's safe. All right, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Have fun.
Bye.
I don't know what Kill Tony is, but have fun watching it.
Oh, Kill Tony. My husband loves that.
Who's Tony?
Um,
Just some guy?
Good question. I'll ask Mike later.
See you later, Benjamin. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
No scuba diving for me. I might snorkel. Snorkeling's all right because you don't go down very far snorkeling.
Yeah, and that's just pretty shallow. If I can see the bottom, I'm fine. And I'm like, I just like the thought of being out in wide open water and I can't see. Like, it's my nightmare. Like, being in a boating accident and being like out treading water waiting to be rescued. Like, that scares.
As long as it's salt water. You could tread for a long time on salt water.
It's not the treading I'm worried about.
Oh.
It's being out in the middle of the
killer whales,
ocean.
the orcas, the sperm whales.
Yeah, Tony Hinchcliffe. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah. I do like that show. I think, is that the one, Kill Tony? That's where he always has an hour or a segment where he has people from the audience come up and do stand-up. And then, like, they, like, rate them, basically. But there's been some good ones.
Master Photographer says, please hit the like button and give Bob and Dani a thumbs up.
Thanks.
Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Please.
Please.
Please. But I have to leave. Okay. Oh, we already got that one. I think we're all finally caught up.
Did we miss any?
Probably, but too late now.
Just gonna stare at it.
Dragonlair says he's dropping good octopus info, and I'm ignoring him.
I saw he said sharks.
If you put a foot-wide edge cover in artificial turf around the tank, the octopus can't get out.
That's right, Lumpy Dog. I made a choice, and it's freshwater all the way.
Yeah, sharks, saltwater, rainbow fish, and freshwater. That's funny.
I'll take it.
Master Photographer says, I've been a certified scuba diver since 1977. The feeling of weightlessness feels like you're flying.
I love the idea of it, but I know I can't. I just, like, scuba diving, like, at, like, you know, when you're snorkeling, I should say. Snorkeling I've done, because you're just right up near the beach. But
200 feet would be my limit. Like, I'm okay scuba diving unless, like, I fall more than 200 feet. Like, if something goes wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't want to go below 200 feet.
You don't want to get the bends?
I'm creeped out by salt creep.
I'm creeped out. Salt creep, isn't that for saltwater tanks? Like, the salt condensates and, like, starts to, like, go on the outside? Is that what that is?
And that's not salt. That's usually mineral. Just, like, minerals from the water.
It wouldn't be salt, though, because it's such a high salt concentration. I'm sure there is minerals.
Salt is a mineral.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, that is, like, calcium.
Yeah. So it's salt and minerals, whatever.
Same thing. I'm an idiot. Whatever. I'm terrified of drowning and scary water creatures. I don't know. I feel like drowning is the way to go.
Ooh, that's a good question. What is something your fish room needs right now that you can DIY?
Well, I am DIYing my air loop system still.
I've got my air loop up and running, but I just had to reconfigure a little bit. I needed longer sections in between, but I am doing a water change manifold that I just DIY'd and put together. I need to glue it, and then I can hook it up.
And then once I'm done with the air loop, which I'm pretty much already done, I just got to get it up. But I'll be building my 40-gallon breeder racks.
Nice. I also, especially now that we're moving into winter and I need to keep as much heat as possible in the tanks, I need to work on some lids. And I've got a couple options. I've got that polycarbonate panels that you can cut. But I also have a bunch of tanks, extra tanks that did not fit in the fish room. And I thought about breaking them down and making some glass lids. So that's something that's on my list.
Yeah, that's what
Hi,
I'm supposed
Susan.
to do too, but Zen Ginger yells at me every time I say I'm just going to take my tanks to the dump. She's like, cut them up and make lids. I'm like, ugh.
I'm a bit of a hoarder. It made me sick how much stuff he threw out. He did give me a lot of stuff, and
I gave you like
still-
100 lights, and I still have like 100 more.
I cannot believe how many lights that we found in his house. So many lights.
LED lights, like good ones.
Good lights. All sorts of lights. Yeah, but you threw out so much stuff. And
Lots of
I
hang on
took
back
stuff
filters.
out of the trash.
It's true. The dumpster diving at my house. Fish keeper's dream.
I'm a hoarder.
All about DIY. Hey, what's up, buddy? I know I rarely make an appearance, but when did you get a stunning co-host? Hope all is well with you guys, as well as everyone else in comments. I think we're trying to do like a monthly thing, but things got busy. Maybe we'll go back to that.
We were doing it monthly, and then I quit my job.
And then got 3 other jobs.
And got 3 new jobs, and so it's been a little crazy, but
Working 160 hours a week.
my one job happens to be like 10, 15 minutes down the street on Mondays, and I get off at 4, so it works out that we can kind of go back to that.
Perfect.
I come all dirty from work, but I'm here.
The reptile store in Everett will take tanks. They took my one. Why would you not just bring your 120 here? That's pretty disappointing. Making glass lids sounds more difficult, but also aesthetically pleasing.
You don't need a 120.
But if it was free,
There is a lot
Hey,
going on over there.
there's nothing going on over there. I don't see it. I just see it like a wall and a window. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you prefer octopus, squid, or cuttlefish in your tank? Probably cuttlefish. I mean, I would want it. I think having an octopus would be kind of awesome, but I feel like the awesome factor would wear out really fast.
This might be a dumb question, but are all 3 of those saltwater?
Yes.
Okay.
Fish hoarder is a good thing. Being able to see the fish in their natural habitat is amazing. The biggest thing to remember is with scuba diving, never hold your breath.
Oh.
See, I did have a friend who's like a certified scuba instructor that was going to like take me out, but then we kind of got in a fight, and so that kind of
My
backfired.
uncle's a certified scuba instructor, and he did like I don't know if it's a different level of certification. Maybe he'll know, but he like for night diving. Is that a part of the course? I feel like he went back and had to get certified in night diving, which
I feel if you go
is
deep
worse.
enough, it's always night diving.
worse.
Kevin says, have I ever kept neon blue rasboras? Yes, the Sundanio axelradi. Debating on putting a small school in my 33. It's really hard to find healthy neon blue rasboras.
I had a group of them, and unfortunately, they didn't make it.
I don't know. I would be very careful who you order from online. It was very hard for me to find a good source for them. If you have a local fish store that has them and you can see them and you can see them eat and you can see that they don't have sunken bellies, I would definitely go that route. If I can't scuba, then what is this all about?
New YouTube channel, Dumpster Diving Dani. Yeah. I've collected so much stuff that I'm like, I will have a use for that I found a use for.
Well, you know, at Walmart, like people dumpster dive like furniture out of Walmart.
Yeah.
Because apparently if you return Walmart for no matter what reason, they just throw it away.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Need a new couch? Go to Walmart
Mm-hmm.
dumpster.
So much stuff gets thrown out. My husband is one that like does not want to take the time to sell it, or he just wants to take it to the dump, and that drives me crazy.
That's me.
The other day I was looking for something that I literally haven't needed for years,
To the dump.
and he had it in the back of the trailer to go to the dump. I'm like, you better get that out for me. Hello, I'm a new subscriber. Do you have a silver dollar aquarium? You don't have a silver.
I'm not a
dollar.
fan of silver dollars,
Yeah.
personally.
I know. So like, I'm looking for tank mates for my Oscars eventually, and I know that silver dollars
They
are
get
one
too
of them.
big. They get
but
too big.
They get too big.
They're yeah. Night diving isn't a special certification. Mixed gas is a special certification as a scuba instructor.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that he went in 2 different segments, and the second go around there was a lot of night diving.
Curb shopping. That's I've never heard that term before.
I have
Curb
found
shop
some
all
of
the
the
time.
best stuff out in front of people's houses for free. I have my fish room pretty much got started with the Goodwill in Value Village. I find all sorts of stuff there.
Which we have a video on.
We do.
I think 2.
We have a
Dollar store and
and the dollar
Goodwill.
store. I actually just went to the dollar store the other day, got some stuff that I've never gotten before for the fish room, so we could do a part 2.
See, Steven knows what's going on. The biggest disadvantage of selling your stuff is that when you have to sell it, you have to deal with buyers.
That I'm not very good at that stuff, I should say.
It's
I'm
the
really good
worst.
at bringing stuff in. I'm not good at selling it either, but I don't like to throw it away. I deal like
So
buying
you're
and
the
selling
hoarder.
makes me hyvey. I'm
At
a
least,
hoarder.
At least I throw it away.
I don't throw it away.
Eventually.
I don't sell it. I just keep it, and eventually I use it or reuse it
Or never use it.
or never use it. I'll use it eventually. Or like stuff that I have that I haven't
That
used.
sounds like a typical hoarder.
My sister lives with us, and she has a pig, and right now she's renovating her our old chicken coop into a pig house for ham, and she's using all sorts of stuff that I haven't had to use or haven't used yet. So it comes in handy for the compound.
So Alice says, how hard are autos to keep? I want to keep some with, or I want some help with some algae, but my plants, heard they are very sensitive. I wouldn't say that they're sensitive. They just love to graze, and if you run out of stuff for them to graze on, then they will starve to death. But I don't think, like, I've had them in all kinds of different water parameters and never, I don't think I would classify them as sensitive. They're just they need lots of stuff to graze on. So like if you run out of algae, then you put like cucumber or something like that in there.
I was actually fortunate that the tank that I put all of his fish in that the otter came with is it's a high light tank, and it produces a lot of algae in there. And since there's only one of him, he's got endless amounts to graze on.
So
Wait.
Kelly says, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, wait, you have Oscars, but silver dollars get too big. I know, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but silver dollars grow like this way.
They do. They get tall. It's more so like I've already got 4 big Oscars in there. So, and to get a school of silver dollars, it would just be too many big fish in there. For me, personally, but I know that a lot of people do
Yeah,
that.
it's just personal preference.
Sorry, you were saying Kelly?
Kelly says, I prefer to give stuff away. Yeah, but you still have to deal with people.
That's what I do. I'm not good at selling stuff, but I'll give stuff away. My best friend is very much like me, maybe more so. She's if I don't want it, she actually came over, and I had actually put in my old racks from my fish tent out on the burn pile because it got too moist in there, and they started to mold. She pulled them off the burn pile. She's like, I'll paint them. I'm going to use them in my barn. So she's worse than me.
Alex said, I got 3 Aquarium 14-gallon nanocube rimless from Petco today. All rimless tanks are half off at Petco. At least they were. I don't know if a new sale started on Sunday, but yeah. So there's the $1 per gallon sale, and then all rimless tanks are 50% off.
Oh, yeah. I've got a couple rimless tanks that don't fit in the fish room now that I've upgraded that I need to rehome.
See, Zen, perfect example. I've killed 27 autos somehow over 2 years, 9 at a time. I guess I just can't keep the biofilm up. Yeah, I know a lot of people will put like rocks in just like maybe like a 5-gallon aquarium in the windowsill, and they'll put rocks in there just to grow algae from the sun, and then they'll move those rocks into their auto sinklets tanks.
Yeah, I was always scared to try them for that reason. So this has just kind of been a happy
I had
surprise.
them in my plant grow out tank, which was like, I mean, there was like 100 par at the substrate. I had so many lights on it, and there was so much algae, like they bred in it. So
Wow.
I bred them, and yeah, they're actually really easy to breed.
So my old nano tank that got the the hair algae carpet would have been perfect.
I don't know. I've never seen one go after hair algae though.
Oh, okay. So more like biofilm and like
Yeah.
basic algae.
$5 super chat from Ginger says, I'll give you my 16-gallon tall tank and some either mini val or micro sword. I would send a pic if you want.
Oh.
Well, I don't really care about the tank, but I do need lots of plants.
The hoarder in me really wants that tank, but I've got about 25 tanks sitting out back behind the garden right now.
Sounds like you need one more.
But I
21.
do need plants. I do need some plants.
We can split them. Would you keep pygmy seahorses in a 20-gallon? I wouldn't keep seahorses. They're too high maintenance for me. Which I understand they're kind of simple, but they're also kind of high maintenance.
Offer free stuff to the neighborhood. Yeah, you do get a lot of that. I tried to buy something the other day. OfferUp is another place I love to go. And I'm like, hey, would you take this for it? I'm not good at bargaining and negotiating. I think I offered like $20 less. And
Hey, I'll
a round
sell you
number.
this phone for $20. Hey, would you take 30? Okay. That's how good you are.
I'm not good at it at all. Most of the time, I don't even try. I just offer full price. But he was like, yeah, when do you want to come get? I was like, I can come today. I can come tomorrow. What works? He's like, this afternoon. And I was like, okay, I can be there basically in an hour. What's the address? And then he's like, well, actually, someone's coming right now, so I'll let you know. I hate that kind of stuff.
That's why I don't even like ask for, like, if I see something I want and it's free, I don't even message them because it never works out.
Yeah.
So Curtis says, any way to stop or slow down gold barbs from eating my pogo? So I've never kept gold barbs, but I have kept fish that eat my plants, like rainbow, some of my rainbow species. And some of the one thing I've done is to have higher, like, plant content in their diet. So like spirulina, spirulina flakes, and then feed them a lot more like vegetable type foods, and then that generally helps out with them eating plants or like not eating plants. But most fish graze like 24 hours a day, so you might have to feed them like 2-3 times a day.
Randy asked, do angels get along with rainbows? In my experience,
Lots of people, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Now, when angels are breeding, that's generally the only time that they get angry.
They're pretty good. Like, I feel like their aggression is mostly with other aggressive fish. So, like, other angels, or, like, when I had my 125, I had bettas in there, and I put angels, and that did not work because were two aggressive fish. But rainbows are not aggressive at all, and because they're fast moving, they help to dissipate some of that aggression in the tank.
The other thing is higher temperatures make angels more aggressive
Because it's breeding, right?
It usually spawns breeding. So like if your tank's sitting like, and I don't know why, but a lot of angel people heat like their tanks up into the 80s, and it's just really not necessary.
Yeah. My fish room, I can only get it up into the 70s. I'm working right now on the weatherproofing. Try to keep some heat in.
That sucks in. Bacteria AE has been a useful product for mine. Would you set up a red aquarium like red aquatic plants and aquatic creatures? Maybe one day it would be something to do for fun, but I've never I'm only gonna have an orange aquarium or a blue aquarium. There's definitely people that do, and then they end up with glowfish.
If I was going to do a color only tank, I would do red as the color because I feel like red with green plants really pops. And
But you can't have green plants. The plants have to be red.
Oh.
That's the whole thing of having a color theme.
I thought it was red plants or red creatures.
Well, maybe. It just depends on how serious you are about red.
I feel like, so I love plants, but if you're a high maintenance plant, you are not going to last with me. And I can't keep red plants going very well.
Do they turn green or do they just die?
Both, or either or.
Sure.
Just in my experience, I haven't tried a lot of different ones, but and mostly stem plants, which stem plants for me don't do well most of the time anyways. But I wanted to do an all green plant tank with red creatures inside, like red cherry shrimp. Although now that I've got those red crystal shrimp, I love those. And then I thought maybe cherry barbs.
So, Rach says, who takes care of black hair algae? You, as the fish keeper, take care of it.
Black hair algae?
Black beard. I'm assuming black hair algae. I've never heard of black hair algae, so I'm just thinking black beard.
I have never gotten blackbeard algae in my tanks, but breaking down your fish room. So I brought his African cichlids home, and they were in a tank that had a blackbeard algae carpet. And trying to get all the fish out because they would just go right down into the carpet and
It's
hide.
miserable.
So trying to find a way to get all the blackbird algae out, I was like, oh, I got it.
That's why I was like, you can have all these fish if you catch them.
Yep. I got a siphon with one of those pumps on it, hand pumps, and I started siphoning out all the blackbeard algae. I clogged the siphon and broke it.
To the point that I couldn't even fix it.
There was so much blackbeard algae. I think it looks cool, but it is a mess.
How many rainbow fish would you recommend for a 150 6-foot
love
long? A lot.
Yeah, you could do, especially depending on what size it is or how
Yeah.
big they will get.
Especially, yeah, exactly, what species.
Yeah.
Like, you could put in, like, 50 kamakas.
Mm-hmm. Which,
So,
those ones are relatively big, right?
about 3 inches.
Yeah. So, like, then if you had, like, the smaller species like the rads, you could do way more.
So rads, I think, actually get longer, but they're more torpedo shaped, but still small.
Yeah.
But if you did, like, pseudomagills, you could do, like, 1,000.
Oh,
That would be amazing. You gotta just, usually when it comes to how many fish can I put in X tank, the real question is how much maintenance do I want to do?
Yeah.
Sure, you could put 50 rainbows in there, but do you want to be doing water changes every week? Or maybe you put 30 in there and then you only have to do them like every couple weeks or once a month. So that's how I would look at it.
The longer I'm in the hobby, the more, it's like I feel like when you're a beginner with anything, everything is very black and white. Like I want to know how to do this right. I want to know what fish goes with what fish. And YouTube can be a very confusing place because there's so many different shades of gray. But the longer that you are in the hobby, I feel like, yeah, there is so many shades of gray. There's lots of different like nuances that can shift. There is no right answer sometimes. Like if you say one way, it can be the other. Just all because of those little details.
I have those in my 40 with 3 goldfish hill stream loaches that Bob complained about. Those 3 hill stream loaches. Was it 3 or was it 6?
He
I don't
said
remember.
3 goldfish and hill stream loaches.
Yeah, I don't remember how many she bought though. If it was because I used to sell them in 3 or 6 packs, but never again would I ever sell that fish.
I wanted to get a group of those guys this summer, but we didn't end up.
We
getting
tried
them
ordering
out.
a couple times, but they never came in.
Yeah, they didn't come in.
What's your favorite fish, but you don't have enough space for a tank?
Ooh.
I mean, for me, it's got to be bala sharks. Like, I would love like a dozen bala sharks in like a 10,000 gallon tank. Going real crazy with that question, but that's I've loved bala sharks since I was a kid.
I think that it's like really when it gets like into the big tanks for me, like obviously we can't have them, but Asian arowana, I would love to have one if we could. And that would be they would probably need a big tank like the 240 or bigger. But other than that, with a big tank, I would probably still go community style with that. So there's not a lot of fish that I would want that are bigger at this point, at least.
100
That may change.
Oscars.
I don't want 100 Oscars.
Hey, Melvin, what's up, buddy?
Unless I had a pond.
An Oscar pond. I'll admit an Oscar pond would be kind of cool.
I've been putting all different sorts of fish in that pond environment, and it's just cool to see certain types like from that different angle. Like angelfish in a pond environment is awesome. I did have my Oscars.
Was it you that shared me that video of like 1 billion angels in a pond?
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
So
I'm not a
cool.
big angel guy, but that was any fish in that number is going to be pretty impressive.
Yeah. Honestly, I would probably, if I had a really big tank like that, I would do like a big school of a fish like that.
Larger schools of the same fish.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome. I want to know how many Arapina I can put in a 20 long. Well, it depends on dwarf, fry. There's our dwarf ones.
Transporting from one tank to another. Arapaima, those are those big ones, right?
Them big sons of bitches. Joseph, what's going on, buddy? Brisket pie. I will eat that anytime. I have 36
Ugh.
fish in my 33.5 gallon tank. I do water changes every 2 weeks. Yeah, but are they 36 goldfish or 36 like ember tetras? Big difference. But no, I get it. Yeah, you definitely got to base how many fish you want on how much maintenance you want to do.
And I think the term planted, like, so like people say if you have a planted tank, it's easier to have more or go longer without water changes. But planted can mean a couple plants or a fully planted, dense jungle tank.
I've got one Amazon sword in my planted tank.
Yeah, and that's, again, as a beginner, black and white, right? If your tank is planted, I've seen a lot of that that issue in particular. Like, you do need a good mass of plants, lots of plants.
The more, the merrier.
Yes.
Like, there should be so many plants
Joseph.
that your fish don't even have room to swim. Like, they're just, your fish are pressed up against the glass because there's so many plants.
Maybe not like that.
Oh.
Although I do have a couple tanks like that right now.
Do cories ever eat algae from plants? They're not strong herbivores. So if your cories are like sifting through your algae, they're feeding on like microorganisms in the algae.
In my experience, I've never had them. I think in terms of like, 'cause so you can get like, they do best in the substrate, help mix up the substrate and keep like the film, or like if you get that blue-green algae, sometimes it'll form on the top. They're good about keeping that stuff away, but definitely I haven't had any luck with them in terms of like algae off of plants or glass. The only thing they do on the glass is lay eggs.
They dance.
They do dance and lay their eggs.
Mm-hmm. The forbidden dance on the glass.
Would you ever set up a waterfall pond? Yes. I do have big plans someday to put a waterfall into my outdoor pond.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping to do one next year myself,
Yeah.
but we'll see. Lots of things can change by this time next year.
Tell Dani she needs an indoor pond with a lid. Plant growing awesomeness.
I want one of those too. Like, I love her. I mean, obviously you've seen her because you talked about it earlier. But
Yes, I love your pond. And honestly, it was like that helped kind of inspire my outdoor tubs. I have found I have so many plant lights in my fish room. My plant lights are on more than my aquarium lights are because they keep everything so lit up. My pond plants, I bring them in and they just die. Or my plants that went outside in the summer just boomed. So I don't know. Someday I will have skylights in the fish shed. When we replace the ones on our house, I'm going to cut some holes in the ceiling and put those there. And that, I would love then to have some ponds under there. But my 50-gallon low boys right now are on the bottom shelf of the rack. And I've got them set up like ponds right now, and because they're just full of all my random plants. And they seem to actually be growing okay. But nothing gangbusters as far as plants go.
So Alice says, are cories okay with gravel? Yes. You just don't want like sharp gravel. And
In my opinion, I have them on all different substrates. Those barbells on their, is that how you, barbells?
barbells.
Barbells on their face. You don't want them to, you want them. And on my bare bottom tanks or my sand tanks, all my cories have really long, nice barbells. Even on like my smooth aquarium gravel, or like I have an aragonite tank, those ones, I can see that they have had some wear to their barbells, and I have actually lost some cories that have lost their barbells. So if you have a tank that has like a gravel or some sort of a substrate, I put a little section of sand so that they have something to sift through. And I'd like to do it right in the front where I feed, so that they're sifting through that, and then maybe they're, if they get too hungry, then they'll sift through the rest of it. But I've unfortunately lost some that lost their barbells from substrates other than sand.
Yeah, well, like I said, if you're gonna do gravel, it's got to be like the rounded, smooth gravel.
Yeah.
The problem you're gonna run into is they'll get bacterial infections in their barbells when they wear down.
Yeah.
Because it's basically like an open wound.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what'll get them. So I wouldn't put them in like crushed coral for long term.
Yeah.
'Cause that's definitely going to shred them.
It's the sun. Outside plants want so much light. T5. See, that's the thing. So once we get the electrical upgraded, and I can actually really start to put some stuff in there, that's the plan. I am going to get some pretty powerful plant lights in there, because I keep all the house plants in there too, and I want a planted canopy. So I'm going to need a let there be light scenario. But before I can really do more than LEDs, I need to upgrade the electrical. But yeah, T5s are on my list. Those things are bright.
So Xanadudu says, hey, fish fan friends, been lurking but chimed in to admit most of my tanks are so heavily planted that the fish have very little swim space.
P.S. I can send you plants too, Bob. That's
so,
awesome.
I've had like really heavily planted tanks where there's like very little like open water, but they still like just dart in and out of the stems and everything. So I
Yeah.
don't really feel too bad, but definitely not getting like some massive schooling behavior. And Daniel Janet says, Daniel Janet, you changed your name. That cracks me up. She loves Danios.
Oh.
Wouldn't you guess? Setting up my crab tank. Oh, she was at the Portland show and got crabs. I had a standard Petco 20 long that I was going to use, keep it simple, but then I found a super cool bookshelf tank. And now it's a whole production.
That's where it starts.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
I put mine in a 10-gallon. Just easy, quick setups. But man, like Aquatic Arts, Haley, they brought just so many awesome crabs.
I would
was
love
crazy.
to do a tour. I was just reading Haley's comment. I would love to do a tour in the Midwest. There's so many of you guys over in that area.
Mhm.
And I haven't spent any time over there at all. And I've watched your videos of Aquatic Arts. That's awesome. You have a new office at your house or at Aquatic Arts? Get a promotion?
She has this new top secret, we'll just call it a facility in their new facility, but it was so top secret she was literally showing everyone at the show. Like, here, take a look, this is a secret. Everyone can see it. Everyone look at my secret. But I'm sure she doesn't want me to say what it is on a stream because she's calling it a secret for a reason, even though she was showing
Yeah, she's
everyone.
saying secret huge projects. Well, when it's not a secret anymore, I look forward to it.
I'll just tell you after the stream.
Yeah, don't tell Bob things you don't want him to tell me.
That should be a given. How often should shrimp be fed? I mean, I feed every day.
Yeah.
But I don't have any shrimp-only tanks, so I'm feeding fish and shrimp every day.
Same.
Midwest is the best. There's so many fish people. And like that huge fish show that's going on in Kentucky or Kansas, I think, next year.
Yeah.
4 different clubs all at once.
I mean, besides Bob, my closest fish friend lives in Canada. So
Canada.
I don't really have a lot of local fish friends.
I did a test on algae wafers. Yours are the most loved over Hikari, Northfin, generic pet store brands. I've never had good luck with Hikari algae wafers or Tetra algae wafers.
I've never had luck with algae wafers, period. Or like the
The elf ears.
I know. Oh, they're on strong right now. The spirulina brine shrimp. My fish do not love them. Ooh, I would love to visit, Kelly. If you've got lots of pets, that's my kind of place. I mean, I would love to visit places without
People
pets.
must think you're like a millionaire. Hey, fly here, fly here.
I would love to fly
here.
there. I would love to visit, but I can't even afford food right now. So
With 3 jobs?
I know. I was very fortunate to have a very nice, secure, high-paying job for a long time, which helped support my hobbies. Now I'm a bit more back in the grind.
But happier.
But happier.
Way happier. The Midwest only has nice weather for 3 months a year. We spend the other 9 months working on aquariums. Nice.
Ooh.
Louisville, Kentucky. That's right.
I will definitely give you my address. That's awesome. Thank you.
What?
Haley's going to send me some stuff.
Okay. She gave me free crabs, so I can't complain. The Triple Crown Convention
Every time you say
website.
crabs, I think of the place I used to work. I used to work at a sports bar that did an all-you-can-eat crab feast every Monday. And we had to wear these shirts that said, I got the crabs at Thrasher's Pub and Broiler. So every time I hear that, I go back to that. Sorry.
Cool story.
I know.
Nice little tangent. Anybody going to Louisville, Kentucky?
I need to go to Louisville, Kentucky, because that's where my
Mhm.
best friend moved. And she never makes it out this way because she's got 2 young
So
kiddos.
you're saying if we go, we'll have a place to stay?
Yes. And I do really need to try to set aside some money and go see her. It's been a long time. And then maybe, I know there's a lot of you guys in that area. Maybe we can make a real trip of it.
Let's see. Must be micro crabs. Sounds like Vancouver Lumpy Dog. Beautiful for 6 months. Water World for 6 months. Skipper's Aquarium, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Can't wait for registration to open. Definitely going to that one. I feel like everyone's going to it.
To where?
To the show in Louisville.
Oh,
There's like 4 clubs, 3 or 4 clubs, all
in
that
that
normally
area.
that normally have like their own show like different times of the year. Now they all got together and it's all at the same time.
Like one
in the
big
same
show?
place, yeah.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
It's gonna be huge.
When is it?
Next year.
Oh,
I don't like spring-ish.
perfect. Those are the kind of
Spring-ish.
of
So
dates
plan-
that I can
plan for
plan for.
Late spring, early summer.
Start saving my pennies. That's the hard part now, because right now's about the time. Like my fish room's set up. I've got all these empty tanks, and I don't have my funny money that I used to have for my hobbies. So I'm like
Monopoly money?
chomping at the bit. Yeah.
Any tips on getting my bristlenose pleco out? It's been weeks. I have seen him outside of his cave since I redecorated the tank. The only thing you can do really is redecorate it to make it. He found a new hiding spot that you can't see. Not much you can do besides redecorate it again.
Thanks, Regina. I do need a Halloween costume.
You
Can
do?
I borrow your chair?
Oh. Any tips on... Oh, wait. I just read that one. July 27th through the 29th.
Oh, it's
Ish.
my husband's birthday. I'll be happy to go.
Guess you're not
He'll
going.
love that. Happy birthday, honey. Bye.
Next year, hitting up all my local fish swap meets. That's the best place to go for plants and fish.
I have not got an opportunity to experience that side of the hobby, really going to like those local clubs or like the fish swaps and stuff and getting to meet more of like the local people and the breeders. And so I really want to start doing that next year.
What eats duckweed but not endlers and shrimp?
Some say goldfish,
Yeah, but those are going to
but
eat your endlers.
they'll eat everything else. Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing in my experience. I have to take it out. Me and my net eat duckweed.
So, yeah, Alec brings up a good point. It'll be the first meeting of ANGFA in 20 years, which is the rainbow fish club in Australia.
Oh,
It's like the source for rainbows. And there's like a North American chapter, but it's been pretty much dormant for decades.
so it's out of Australia, but there's a chapter here that's going
Yeah,
to be
I can't
in
remember
Louisville?
what the acronym is, but yeah.
Oh,
It's like if you go to the ANGFA website, they have like every rainbow fish, where it was collected, who collected it, water parameters of where it was collected, like any information you could ever want on rainbows. It's a pretty sweet website.
would Corridoras or bristlenose plecos work better in a 33 long? I feel like that would be a good tank for both of those.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on work better at what. Like both would thrive in that aquarium.
I love long tanks. just in general.
Chickens eat duckweed.
Yes, they do. Actually, I used to take my duckweed out and throw it into the chickens. I bought fake duckweed from Amazon. It's wonderful. I saw that. I was looking for some plastic plants for the Oscar tank, and I saw that.
I remember back in the day for about 10 minutes or so, Bob was in a goldfish. That's true.
Bob and I, we almost bit the bullet and got into some fancy goldfish last year, but I've decided, as much as I love the look of those chubby little cheeks, they just have so many health problems. I just don't want to go down that. I used to, before I really got into the hobby, I had 3 tanks for a while. One of them was a community tank, one was a betta tank, and then I had a fancy goldfish tank. And I was constantly dealing with swim bladder issues and bloat and all sorts of stuff. So I'm glad I decided to pause, especially because they're like hundreds of dollars now. I feel like
They can be.
so expensive.
There's people that just go to like Petco and PetSmart and buy them for like $5 and then sell them online for like $100.
Yeah. Manual removal and surface agitation helps with duckweed. Yeah. I only have duckweed in my tanks that have very little flow, like my nano tanks. And my tank that had the most prevalent duckweed, I somehow lost the power supply for it, so it hasn't had a light on it in like months. That managed to kill all the duckweed. So no light or high surface agitation, definitely.
A wet dry vacuum is very good at removing duckweed. However, if you have shrimp, it's very easy to vacuum up shrimp too that are hanging and surfing upside down on your duckweed if you're not
Yeah.
careful. Would I set up a fairy tale or mythical aquarium? Probably not. I would set up like a Star Wars aquarium maybe. Well, that's about it.
I like when people do those types of tanks. I think they're cool to look at. I am not someone that... I don't like tchotchkes and stuff, like lots of that type of stuff. So I don't get into too much of the themed tanks.
Where's your 15 pieces of flair?
I would never. I don't like stickers on things. I'm weird about that. I also really, as much as I've set out to make some cool, maybe not like a theme or fantasy tank, but like some like specific aquascape setups, it never goes together that way,
Or
and
like
they all
a-
end up a crazy jungle.
Like an elf themed tank.
Well, maybe after today.
Simply Betta did a Lord of the Rings tank that was really cool.
I did love her, and she's got so intricate. Not only did she put together that tank, but she made so many of those individual pieces. And I think she's doing she's getting ready to do a Skyrim tank.
I could see that.
Yeah, she's doing other projects on her list of to-dos first, and then she's going to reward herself once she finishes those by making a Skyrim tank, I believe.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like the rocks and the plants and the fish. I've realized. I also have realized that as much as I love like the fully aquascaped tanks, it's never going to be me. I love a lot of plants in my tanks, but they are just messy jungles, really.
I don't know. I just like throwing in rocks and wood, throw some fish in, and call it a day.
Yeah. I want to do a Lego themed tank. That would be cool to see.
There was a lot of stuff like that at the Aquatic Experience because they had children-scape tanks, and so there was like all kinds of just random. They were like the coolest tanks ever, but they're Lego themes, like action figure, like G.I. Joe tanks, and
that would be cool.
It was pretty crazy. And then they killed all their fish.
I think as much as I have one Buddha in one tank, one Buddha statue, and then I took your skull out of the trash. I'm gonna make
Buddha not do that again.
I'm gonna put a skull in one tank. That's about as much as it goes.
Just got some new honey gummies. Was wondering what that means when they bounce back and forth. Are they like flashing, like bouncing, like flashing like that? It's the only thing I can think of.
Or if they're, so like when I moved my 55 from the house into the shed, that's the one that's got all my giant Danios. They were freaked out. And every time, and even still, every time I go in there, they go like this and they bounce back and forth across the tank and then go hide in the corner. Like he could possibly mean that. But those are both two different things for sure.
Yeah, I need a little bit more clarification.
Hey, Jimmy.
Butter this bread for me.
What is beta nuggets?
What?
Love her beta nuggets recipe.
Oh, that's her food that she makes, I think.
Who makes?
Simply Beta.
Oh,
Right?
I didn't know she made food.
Would you do birds that stay small in a... I would not put birds in an aquarium, if that's what you're asking. There's, I forget what the bird cages are called.
Aviary.
Yeah, there's people that do like aquarium aviary mixes that I think that would be really fun. But I wouldn't turn an aquarium into a bird cage. But I don't know if that's what you're asking.
Birds are, in general, they need a lot of ventilation. So you would want more of a, probably like a wire setup versus a glass.
Oh.
I would love to let birds go in my fish room for just the visual.
But your wild snake might get them.
Yeah. Actually, now there's a few rogue frogs, and there's some big ones in there.
Did they kill a snake?
No, but they knock my lights off the top of my tanks all the time.
That's what happens when you drill a 3-inch hole in the side of your building.
I need
Don't cover it.
And this is the problem with making a fish room and like doing it backwards. So like now I'm putting in like the drain lines and the water fill. And I need a very small person or child to go underneath my rack and hook up my last connection, and then I'm done, and it won't be just a giant hole. That will probably help with the keeping the heat in.
Oh, sure. That's right. It was an April Fool's video where she cooked bettas. That's right.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Lumpy Dog, of course,
Males
gets
will
the right
shake
answer.
at each other in aggressive displays.
That's probably what's going on.
So my angelfish pairs do that too. Well, they'll like shake it at each other.
Your what?
My angelfish pairs will do that. But like not male to male, but like the male and females, they'll like shake at each other and then they do the lip locking.
Probably because they're doing it.
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't look like it.
Forbidden dance.
It looks like the dance leading up to, maybe. It always looks like a little like married couple fight.
Interesting idea. Then you would have to look at bird-fish compatibility. Like, can I keep this egret with my koi?
I would actually. So I've got his Madagascar day gecko now. And I've been looking for basically I want to do like a curio cabinet, like a display cabinet basically, and turn it into an enclosure for that. But I also thought if I could get one big enough, could I do birds in there too? Because I wanted originally a wall-mounted little aviary in there for some finches.
Can you keep dwarf crayfish or neocaridina in soft water if you feed them lots of calcium? Or does it have to be in water column no matter what? All of my shrimp are in soft water.
I'll come do it on travel size.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I wouldn't probably... I would try to buy shrimp local, so they're coming from the same water source.
Yeah. I think the only reason I have success with my red cherry shrimp is because I got them from him and he was right down the street. However, you were on city water and I'm on well, but still, it was established in this area, maybe. Was the
So
luck.
my water at the old house came from 4 sources and one was a well.
Ah.
Which probably helped. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm hoping
Shell
that's the
dwellers
reason.
question mark. I agree.
I want to do a shell dweller tank.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I have two 75 gallons completely empty. I don't even have substrate. They're full of water, and they've got sponge filters going. Those are my newest setup. I've got that 125 sump that's going to be a planted tank that I can put fish in. I've got my 55 open, and I've got a 20 high open. So lots of things. Shell dwellers on the list, though. I'm thinking about doing the old Oscar 55 gallon and making that into the African cichlid tank or the shell dweller tank.
You should do one of the 75s.
Yeah. Yeah. I could. My 55's already kind of set up for it, though, with nothing.
I just hate 55s.
Yeah. But I got them. They're in there, so they need something in it.
I got nothing. I just hate 55s.
Ooh, someone said pho. I love pho.
Gross. Raw meat in warm water is gross.
It's delicious.
Finches are adorable. I agree. Anyone want cranberries? I have about 30. I need to sell at least 25.
Canaries.
Oh, that was like 30 cranberries? What?
I would love, actually, I don't know much about canaries specifically, other than that's what they used in the coal mines back in the day. I wanted a big group of finches, though. I've wanted a big group of, like, mixed finches for forever, if they're similar. Although I really don't have the space or the money to invest in a new venture right now. But if I did, I would love to have some of your canaries.
Cranberries.
Yeah. Now I need to get a canary and name it Cranberry, though.
I agree. But it better be the same color. I don't care what kind of bird it is. It has to be the same color as a cranberry.
Arapaima all the way. They'll grow to this. Those are so big.
You could ride it, though. You could put it in your pond and you can ride it around like a dolphin.
An Arapaima?
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be sweet?
Not really. I don't want to swim in that pond. Maybe
Crank
once
the
it's
heat up
done.
on that water until they meet and cooked. No way. That whatever is gross.
I think it's only one type of. I mean, yeah, obviously it goes in raw and it cooks it, but there's only one type that they serve it to you raw, and you put it in, and it cooks it.
Either way, it's gross. Like, why do you want rubbery, warm meat?
Canaries are finches. Thank you. Okay, I knew they were close.
What kind of finches? Or what kind of canaries do you have? You could just let them... I think you should just let them loose. You'd have to get, like, a net for your door, though.
Yeah. It terrifies me every time I open up that gecko cage because it's very flighty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just waiting for it to, like, dart out past me, and then I'm going to lose it in the jungle of plants.
Would I keep a blue crane? No.
Like a blue crane heron?
Yeah.
I've got some out back. They show up at the pond all the time.
I know Amber from Big City Bettas wants a giant sturgeon pond. I love sturgeons, but that's pretty unrealistic.
I thought about doing in that big pond, since it's donut shaped, I wanted to get a really good current. And, you know, we kind of do the homestead
Lazy river.
stuff. Yeah, so I wanted to make basically like a river and raise fish that we could eat. But my husband wants nothing to do with fish from mud.
Doesn't he fish?
Yeah, but he's more like saltwater or fast flowing streams. I don't know, like ducks. They taste like what they eat. And to him, if it's like pond raised fish, tastes like ponds.
But it's because they're pellet raised. It's the pellet food that makes them taste like shit, not the pond.
Well, next time you're over, you can convince him that we need a sturgeon pond.
No, I think that's a terrible idea.
Okay.
But I think you need like a trout pond.
That's what I meant, trout.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite colored type of betta, Dani?
Ooh. Favorites, I'm terrible at.
I thought you liked the white one.
Mm-mm.
The black one?
My favorite,
king, whatever.
I love king bettas specifically. I mean, I love all types, but I have quite a few kings just because they're huge. And right now, I've got, but my favorite betta right now is actually a black. I don't even know what type he is. He came to me as a king, but he's got some pretty decent finnage on him, and he's black with just a little bit of like the kind of the gladiator flecking. He's my favorite right now. But it's so hard because I don't know if it's my water or just water in general. My bettas change colors. So any betta I bring home ends up a different color than it is, which I think is fun because I don't really particularly have a favorite, and I get to see, it's almost like having new fish all the time.
So Brian says, I took down all my tanks over the last year, decided to start with the 125 and try to focus on one big tank instead of a bunch of smaller tanks. That is, in my opinion, the smartest thing ever. I'm so over like lots of small tanks and more larger but less tanks.
Yeah. What is the minimum tank size for a king betta? I don't know what a minimum is. Mine are in 20-gallon longs. I have one in a 20-gallon high. It could probably, I mean, they're not that much bigger than a normal betta. So at least 5 gallons. The thing with kings, though, is they do jump. They absolutely jump. So a lid is super important. And with all bettas, they like that horizontal swimming space. So a longer tank versus a taller tank.
What is my experience with adult SAE aggression towards each other? I've only ever kept one Siamese algae eater as an adult, and I think I got it from like getting someone's free tank, and it came with a bunch of random fish. So I've never kept more than one adult. So I have zero experience.
I had a trio together in my 125, and I found that together as like a group, they were pretty peaceful. They can be jerks to other fish in the tanks. I have seen that, but I'm kind of over. I will not be bringing home any more Siamese algae eaters because they don't eat the algae, and they are just kind of big bullies in the tank once they get big.
So yeah, Siamese algae eaters, they'll eat algae, but then once they get full grown, then they kind of switch. They kind of like turn the switch and kind of. They're not as bad as Chinese algae eaters, which are a jerk from the start, but still.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the spade tail alien. So I have not kept any alien bettas yet, and there is a couple species of the wilds. I'm getting ready to set up all of my 10-gallon tanks, which I'm going to start for betta breeding, and I want to get a few of those. I also like the smaragdinas, like the copper smaragdinas. I think those are cool. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but in my head when I read it, that's how I pronounce it.
You like tank that is long or high? Long.
Long.
Length is always more important than height. Anyways, that was kind of a weird thing to say. So, it has been 2 hours.
Has it really?
Cut, scene, end.
Shoot, that went
fin,
fast.
over, finish.
Would keep a batfish.
No.
Is that saltwater?
It's the saltwater fish that's really tall.
I think those are cool looking.
Oh yeah, but I would never keep one.
Oh.
That's way out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I don't even. If I did salt, my first tank would probably. I really love clownfish, just the basic clownfish.
Nemo, it's Nemo.
Yep.
I want a Nemo fish, Mom.
I want a couple Nemos and a bubble tip anemone.
You don't want a Dory?
Nope.
Nobody wants Dory. That's why she got fired. Anyways, that's it. What do you think? New place?
Thanks for having us. Yeah, I like the new place. It's a lot cooler in here than your old place. Being on the basement level. Also, it's fall, but...
Well, I meant like cooler. Like, yeah, this place is cool.
Well, and it's cooler too, but temperature-wise, like I can wear my beanie and my sweatshirt.
Anyways, I'm starving, so I'm going to eat dinner.
I already scarfed dinner on the way here,
It's
but
time to go. Was it
I'm going to go home and hang out in my
pho?
fish room. It was not.
It
was a burger. Fast food.
So thanks everyone for hanging out, and super chatting and lurking.
Yes. Thanks for coming to say hi, guys.
And thanks for coming
good to see you.
on the stream.
See you.